Well, the good news is there's no more international breaks for a while. The bad news is that means there's 18 uninterrupted weeks now of Luton Town football for us to talk about until March the 26th. How are you all doing? Welcome back to our Hatters Walk. We've got Mark and Kevin, fresh back from Barnsley, of course, who, still can't believe their eyes as to what happened. Hope you're well. We're going to get straight into it. Of course, we'll talk about just what on earth happened up in Yorkshire and, Naismith's interview. Oof. Should he be calling out the fans like that? Has he got any right to? We'll get Mark and Kevin's opinion on it. Plus, our A to Z continues. And we're also asking, who's the worst goalkeeper that's ever played for Luton Town? We'll get hopefully, some of your comments on that a little bit later on as well. Right. Kevin, let's start with you on that Barnsley result, shall we? It's a strange result. And when I heard it on the radio, I was thinking, I'm sure surely it can't be five. This is a new Luton side that you've been telling me has turned a corner, and we look sharper and fresher. And I think last week's video was it's a sharper Luton. What happened?
Well, to be fair, Mark, it could have been 7 or 8. They hit the woodwork twice as well. And we just had zero desire, zero passion. And it actually reminds me of the last game of the season last year. 5 wins in a row. Last year we were looking good. We were all positive. We said this is turning a page. What happened at the last game against West Brom? Exactly the same. I think the only difference this year, and I believe most people are despondent for a reason, is no one rolled their sleeves up and no one actually had the desire to come back. I don't think anyone that is a Luton supporter believed we were going to come back after the second goal. After halftime, it was nothing. And I think we're all just sick, and let me say it from now. We're all sick hearing that the players are working hard, that they're feeling sorry for it. At the end of the day, it's the results, and we are not getting the results. And I believe the fans have every right, especially like Mark, who pays good money, to be upset at the results. It's just simply not good enough at this point.
Cheers, Kevin. Right, Mark, you were there. Where does it rank with the performances of 2025? Is it an all-time stinker?
The levels of anger have downgraded to simmering by now, so that's like 48 hours nearly afterwards. And I think it was just so unexpected. Like I said, we'd had a feel-good factor. We've had the clean sheets, and to be honest, this ranks right up there. I mean, this is like in the last year, we've had 3 managers that have all. It's not down to Jack. We've had three separate managers: the 5-1 at Middlesbrough under Rob, the 5-3 at West Brom under Matt, and now this. Too passive. They hit the bar after 90 seconds. The warning signs were there, and for me, it's like the 7 games we won this year have been when we kept a clean sheet. Last year, 8 out of 13 wins were when we kept a clean sheet. It's almost like when we go behind, you sort of know what's going to happen, and you could almost like resign to what's coming next. But I mean, the goals were just. I mean, Cleary just must have thought it's his birthday. All his birthdays and Christmases come at once. The spaces they found. I mean, they only had 27 successful passes in the final third. They didn't need many because we were helping them out. There was just no. Yeah, it's. Where are the characters? Where are the leaders? When we go 2-0 down, we think, right, we're gonna roll our sleeves up. We're gonna get nasty, and we're gonna battle our way back in. But Kevin's right. It could have been 6, 7, 8. The scoreline could have been anything basically. And let's not forget, this is a Barnsley side that hadn't scored in the last 3 home games. It's like they've only kept 1 clean sheet all season, and first time they've got back-to-back wins since August. We're not talking playing Liverpool or Man City. We're talking a team that we've just rolled over basically. And I think like coming away from Barnsley, we all spend a lot of money. We were the 3rd highest away following in the League One. We spent a lot of money, and yeah, it's just an awful day. And I think it's like, where do we go from here? Because we really thought we'd turned a corner, but it's just like I said, the third 5 5-goal drubbing we've had in the last year, and it just seems like old habits are still there.
Don't like calling out players at this point, but there were quite a few to both of you that were called out. Martin B says Mengi, Bottler, Naismith, Bottler, Anderson, garbage. The list goes on. This is the worst team we've had in years. We could still go down. And the board are guilty of letting it happen. 25k seater stadium. Yeah, laughter. Naismith's name, Kevin, was in lots of these lists, and of course he had a fair few things to say in the interview afterwards. I'm not sure if you've heard it. What did you make of what he had to say?
I think the sad part is he obviously was quite massive at Luton, went to Bristol. Everyone forgave him. He came back. He thought he's going to be the extreme leader. He's going to set the example. We're going to be able to trust in him. Everyone was so excited to have him back. But he not only has his play been very disappointing, he can barely make a good pass. But then, like you said, and like Mark said a bit earlier, to come on afterwards, not really take responsibility, give excuses without actual a proper apology, I don't think is right to the supporters. I know many times he's actually given it back to the supporters at the ground as well. He's been unhappy with the abuse of the team, or should I say the unhappiness of the team, but that comes with the territory. Any team that's got 69% possession should never be losing that match 5-0 unless your processes are incorrect, unless there's no desire. And once again, Mark is 100% correct. We had all the touches in the boxes. We had all the opportunities really to get into those good spaces. But when we did, no one put in good crosses. And I think it's time for him to take responsibility, for him to understand that the supporters have been very patient, that the supporters expect a level, not because they are unhappy necessarily with the whole club, but with what we have, with the parachute payments, with the stuff that's being told to us all the time, with our journey. We should not be battling against Barnsley losing 5-0 when exactly 2 years ago we were beating Crystal Palace in the Premier League. That doesn't make sense. And I don't think Naismith is helping that cause for the loyal supporters to understand that road.
Mark, do you think Naismith has a point or not?
What I would say is I was there and I was as angry as anyone for the ones that actually stayed past the hour mark. Now, if the fans that are giving personal abuse, there's no place for that. We're all frustrated. And if his comments are aimed at the personal abuse, then it's not acceptable. Having said that, like, we've all spent a lot of money. We've gone up there. And I think one of his comments was the way that the fans are acting is not the Luton way. Well, what we saw on the pitch is definitely not the Luton way. And to come home and just to put it on the fans, and I get it straight after the game, they're hurting, they're disappointed with the result. But if you just said, look, this is on us, we're sorry, we're going to work hard and we're going to come back stronger, no one would have a problem with it. But yeah, I think it didn't leave a good feeling in a lot of supporters just coming home from Barnsley with one of the worst performances. And to basically, yes, we all need to stick together. I agree with that. But and yes, I agree, if his comments were aimed at some personal abuse, then there's no place for that. But no need to say he needs more support from us. We've spent a lot of money going up to Barnsley, 1,500 of us, and so yeah, I like Kal. I've met him quite a few times, and yeah, he's a really nice guy, and he's passionate, and he really wants to do well for Luton. But it's not what we wanted to hear after watching that embarrassment of a performance.
Yeah, quick turnaround to Huddersfield and Bolton to pull that right this week. A couple more from the game though. Crypto Hatter says to think Woodrow is out on loan and scoring. He deserved more minutes and never got them. Wells, Yates and Nunes are useless. Bless them. And we keep coming back to this same point, Kevin, of up front. Does that poster have any points?
I'm glad we're speaking about this. Ironically, 2 weeks ago, we had the same topic, and I know Mark and Lewis were both confident to say, hey, it doesn't matter if our strikers are not scoring, as long as everyone is chipping in, we will beat Stockport 3-0 and that kind of stuff. And at that point, I disagreed a little bit. And I was saying that if the strikers are not scoring goals, yes, we will get away with a couple of good results. The midfield will chip in. We will get goals from set pieces. But I think continuously, if they're not scoring, Wells had a great chance very early on. 1-on-1 basically with the keeper, didn't score it. Yates came on, didn't look at all like he was going to even score, get anywhere close to it. If our defense is not doing the basics and defending, if our strikers and our forwards are not scoring, I think that's where the big problem is. It doesn't help anything else. You have to do the main job, and the main thing must stay the main thing. And it is correct. At this point, none of our forwards or our strikers are looking any good or dangerous. We've got a couple of unfortunate injuries as well, but we need to start putting that ball in the back of the net. It's actually quite amazing that we are still only 5 points off the top of the log after all of this. And that's the positive. Because when it does start clicking, you'll get it.
I think for me, it's about winning individual battles. You've got to win the battle before you can play your football. And if enough players win their individual battles, then over the course of the game, you'll create the chances. And I can't think of a single player who won his individual battles on Saturday.
Chris Dunn says, whoever interviews Jack after the game, everybody wants to know what Zach Nelson does to warrant not only a place in the squad, but a starting position. Is that a bit harsh, Mark?
Well, I mean, when we saw the team sheet, we were hoping to, and I know Jake Richards had an injury, and we hope to see Lamine Fane. But what we don't know, it's a 3-game week, so he was to blame for the first goal. I just felt like the way that Barnsley were moving the ball, the way that we were too passive, and the way that they were dominating every area. It wasn't his game. It was just too passive and almost too lightweight. I think the problem with Zach is he doesn't nail down a position. I think he can be used in a variety of positions, but he doesn't. I can't see him nailing down a position and say, right, that's my position. It's up to someone else to take the shirt off me. He's going to be used in a variety of positions, and he's still very young. So I just think it was a bad game for everyone. But of course, when you make the mistake, you get the criticism. But yes, he is young, so we just got to appreciate that he needs time, but he also needs players around him. If you compare Jake Richards, he's 18, he's younger, but he's had a season of playing for Exeter. So although he's younger, he's basically had the game time to get the experience, whereas Zach is not getting the game time regularly to get that experience to be able to react to certain situations.
Let's move on from Barnsley then, shall we? Let's fingers crossed it is just a blip, and then we can celebrate 6 points from Huddersfield and Bolton this week. Let's hope so. Anyway, we're talking goalkeepers this week because we are aware that there's been a number of rooks in League One. Some spectacular ones as well from goalkeepers. So it's got us thinking, who's the worst ever goalkeeper that you've had at Luton Town? And please let us know in the comments here, so we'll share some stories there. Kevin, for you?
I don't like speaking about the worst goalkeepers or any player because it's very subjective. I will, however, participate. I think Kevin Pilkington wasn't one of our greatest. He played 2010 to 2012. Didn't really get many starts. I believe it was 15 starts. Very few clean sheets. Tyler was at the end much more preferred. He came with quite a lot of gusto, but didn't really do much. And then I'll put one which might be a little bit sensitive, and that's actually Ethan Howard. who played in the playoffs. Yes, we won. Yes, he had quite a lot of clean sheets, but I don't think the fans ever believed he was a steady goalkeeper who could really do it. And that's why when we were offered him for £1 million at the end of the season, we actually said no. And he obviously went to Cardiff, and that I don't think he gave the fans a lot of confidence. And yes, we won the penalty shootout, but that wasn't due to him. So I would say those two are probably the worst in recent history.
Okay. Mark?
There's one name that I'm still scarred by, and that's the Simon Moore, who played in the playoff semi-final against Blackpool, where we're within touching distance of a playoff final at Wembley, and then he cost us 2 goals, and that was around the time where we had to have loads of emergency goalkeepers. But yeah, whenever I think of bad goalkeepers, it might be unfair because that was probably his only appearance, but yeah, that cost us a playoff final, so he will forever be in my memory of goalkeepers that didn't fill me with joy, shall we say.
Okay. All right, to finish off with this week, then, it is the A to Z of Luton Town. We're up to the letter G this week. We've got a nice easy one, H, next week. That's going to be very straightforward, so let's hope we can get some debate going for G. Kevin, have you got anyone?
Yeah, a lot of recent history, but a while ago, I would say Gordon Turner, most goals for Luton Town, 276 goals in all competitions. You can't beat that. 450 appearances in all competitions, one of the all-time greats. So I'd say Gordon Turner.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring you back when we do T, though, Kevin, given that we're doing surnames.
No, but for G, for Gordon.
Yeah, but we're only doing surnames.
Oh, okay. No problem.
No problem. We can hold him for T, though. Good shout. Mark? Okay.
Oh, I always go back to my my early days, my era. Paddy Grealish, great midfielder that got us up into 81, 82. Phil Gray was a signing from Tottenham, a great forward. He did really well. Clive Goodyear, once again from that side in the early 80s, who went on to win an FA Cup winners' medal with Wimbledon. And Andre Gray, who got the goals that got us out of the conference, who then went on to play for that other lot. There's quite a few, but more from my early memories of watching Luton.
Yeah, Andre Gray got into the Burnley A to Z when we spoke to them as well, so yeah, good. He features in a couple. Right, good job, both of you. Thank you very much. We're on to H next week. We might as well just bypass it and we'll put Hatters in, shall we, and just go to I. But yeah, we'll have some players ready for H next week. Right, good luck against Huddersfield. Good luck against Bolton. I'm sure it's just a blip. I'm sure we can get back on the road to happiness and get back into that playoff contention. Right. Oh dear, the ups and downs of Luton Town. Would you? 7 wins, 7 losses. Who'd be a Luton Town fan? Hey,
Grey hair.
We'll see you next week. And if you're a Luton Town fan that fancy becoming a podcaster or fancy coming on and putting Mark and Kevin and Lewis through their paces, just drop a comment below, and we're very happy to have you on as a guest for one episode or two. Right, thanks so much, everyone. We'll see you in 7 days' time. Have a good one.
Bye.